guys, it's Caitlin. We are back. It is me. I am solo. We are just getting right into this. I won't lie, I am been struggling. We are back in tier 4. This is the almost five days deep. Oh well, actually more than that. Because it was last Friday. So what is that? Make it like 9 days. But anyway, regardless of that nonsense, we are back in tier 4. Things are not looking that hot. And I am losing my mind. Yeah, so it's just been a weird time. But some good news, because everyone's obviously seen that we are now doing the period products for women, which it's obviously super good, the government funding this to help end period poverty and the shame and all the stigma. However, there's a lot of bullshit that's coming out of this as well, which I think is just bizarre. A lot of people, well, what's for men? Well, actually, you can get free condoms and sex as a choice. Biology isn't, but, you know, each to their own. And then on top of that, the women being like, well, men have to shave. My sons, like, okay, relax. Girls are in pain, bleeding, all over the fucking place emotionally, trying to like survive life, and then on top of it you want to complain about a man having to shave. Half of them can't even fucking grow a beard, so can you just wind your neck in? But anyway, so that's good news. I should also say maybe this will explain it. I am surfing the crimson wave myself, which, you know, lockdown just done me so dirty, and now tier 4 is doing it even worse. Living the dream. However, that's like some good news with, like, you know, the added dashing of, or the sprinkle of bullshit of people just being crazy, selfish, and I don't know. And then another thing I was thinking about as well is people are like, well, how is it going to be funded? Another taxpayer thing. Okay, great, but like, again, free condoms are supplied by taxpayers, and then all the period products were literally luxury tax. So if you want to think about it like that, then you can then think about it as like a prepaid. All the women before have paid into these new women having to not miss out on life because of their fucking uterus. So, I mean, yeah, so just think about it like that. And that's probably going to save a lot of people a lot of hassle. And yeah, I just think it's great. I cannot pure get in on this enough. I just love it. Just love it. I love seeing things sort that shit out, make it work for everyone, and just kind of like level out that playing field. It's funny though, like every single time it's like, obviously women bleed, have their periods, it's a whole mess. There's all these like illnesses and like things that go wrong with the whole biological bullshit nonsense, like minefield of having like ovaries and eggs and all that good stuff. And then they're like, but men can't control their wet dreams. Okay, sleep with a condom on, what do you want me to say? Like, I don't, like, that's not an issue. What? Yeah, so obviously I just think a lot of things are ignorant to, yes, I think it is a lot of ignorance. You can't even pretend that it's not ignorance. Like, who in 2020, if you don't know yourself, which I honestly, like, I come across a lot of girls that have never experienced things or heard of things or like spoke to their friends about things until they have an issue, and then when they have that issue they feel so like isolated and alone. And I just think in this day and age, when there's people literally fighting for equality, and you've got some women that are growing out like all their body hair and blah blah blah, and just the whole stigma behind it doesn't seem to be changing. There's still that kind of like ugly mindset, like that it's something that shouldn't be spoken about and it's unladylike and whatever else. What is more ladylike than talking about like lady issues, like problems that women have to face and deal with? I don't know. I just think it's a weird mindset and a weird mentality, and I just think there should be more openness about a lot of the stuff that we go through. And I think men need to take a back seat on this because they obviously don't experience it the same way now. I think men should also be educated the same way girls are educated on wet dreams. Like, are you kidding me? That's not really important. I was talking about sex ed the other day and all this stuff, and how a lot of it was, don't have sex until you're married. There's no way to have safe sex. You have to wear an all-body condom. Like, that's obviously never going to happen, so don't have sex. Men ejaculate, and this is that, and that's this, and they have wet dreams, da-da-da-da. Women bleed, and then they get pregnant, so don't do that. That was kind of... hang on. Like, and, yeah, so I just think it's very, very weird. So I've had to find out a lot of things myself, but then I've been put into, like, groups on Facebook and things where it's, like, gal pals. If anyone's in that, then you'll know the fucking struggle. So, and then you see things like, oh, what's the coil like, and has anyone else had this issue? And their conversation is starting, but there's so many people that don't know, haven't got the information. Now, I also think that GPs and things, although obviously it's their area and whatever else, they are not always, what's the word, forthcoming with all the information you need. And I think we need to have, again, it's the openness, and people do get so uncomfortable. Like, it's, I just don't understand the whole stigma about biology at the end of the day. And I don't like the hate that it gets for the fact that it's so stigmatized to the point people can't talk about it. And then, of course, it becomes so dramatic in the way that everyone's like, oh my god, you can't say that. And I am so open, and I'll have my clients and we'll be talking about like everything and anything. Like, I go back to spear dick. That is a conversation I obviously had with a client who was in getting a treatment done, and we were just talking about guys and like our experiences, and she was telling me a story, obviously confidentiality and everything took place, so it was very, very vague. And then I was just saying like, oh, this guy had like a really tight foreskin, da-da-da-da-da, all the usual bullshit. And that is how, like, obviously we ended up speaking about it. And then this is how, like, conversations are started. Obviously just talking about experiences and whatever else. And I think that is the best way to find your kind of, like, obviously look into the shit, but, like, half of it's unknown, do you know? Like, I said this to one of my friends, and she was a nurse, and I was like, do you know how little they know about, like, the female body, like, compared to what they know about men? And obviously I'm not medical, like, professional, not medically trained. I don't have a fucking clue, if you want to say it like that. It's just a viewpoint and, like, something I've thought about and also looked into it. So, I mean, I'm just like a normal person, just being interested and intrigued about the lack of knowledge that we seem to have. And then, like, we're not supposed to give birth on our backs. That's, like, a new thing. This is actually really funny because I said to my sister, I was like, do you know how little they know? Because my personal experience with, like, all the kind of contraception and stuff like that has been a fucking nightmare. And I'm so open about it because everyone who wants to know what could go wrong just has to come to me directly, which is fucking amazing. Yeah, and I was just like, what's going on? And the doctors were just like, not a fucking clue, babe, not a clue. And then when I looked into it myself, and I would come to them and be like, what does this mean? What does that mean? With my own research behind what I was going through. Which is just like a whole thing in itself. Like, why am I doing the research when the professionals are supposed to know? And, like, I just feel like there's a lot of stuff that they just are not comfortable talking about or bringing up or whatever. And I said to my sister, who's also not medical either, and I was like, do you realise they don't have that much of a fucking clue about women's bodies? And she's like, oh, right, oh, it's so interesting, oh. And I was like, yeah, it fucking is interesting. Like, here you go and crack on, get your book out, take some notes. And she literally came into my room the next couple of days and was like, do you know that we give birth on our backs because Henry VIII took pleasure in that? I don't know about anyone else, but I think that's fucking crazy. Like, I think it's crazy to, well, I was going to say to find it sexy, like, people are being in pain, but then BDSM. So, I just think it's fucking bizarre that's kind of the whole thing. And then that started, obviously, this fucking trend. And I just think there's not much that men can't do wrong. and when it comes to all that stuff. But yeah, I just think that's crazy, and I've kind of gone off on a tangent, and it's just bullshit thoughts, so you can all just like take a little bit of knowledge and just take what you want from this. Take what you want. I think it's interesting, and I said to, obviously, my nurse friend, I feel like I said that, but then I've just kind of rambled away, but here we go again. I said to my nurse friend when we were talking about some of the stuff that we've gone through, mine on the contraception, her own stuff, and then I said again, there's not much in the way of like women's bodies when you think about it, like how the hormones affect you, blah blah blah, this, that and the next thing. Like obviously we know to an extent, but it is not like deeply looked into, if that makes sense. Which obviously there's always new things coming out, there's new bits and pieces, there's new information, you're starting to hear more about different things, and kind of like ties in with everything, doesn't it really? Like the kind of more you get into something, the more you find out, the more you start to like research things. Like I think it's autism they were saying, we guys boys, little boys are found out to have it more so than little girls, purely because little girls hide it better. I don't know, like it's weird. And then obviously everyone's like, oh my god, the vaccines give you this. No, they don't. Like it's just more known and easier to spot, if that makes sense. Does that shout yes? But like honestly, I just think it's crazy, and but yeah, so I feel like full circle, here we go. A lot of the stigma and the unwillingness to talk and understand and look into women's issues, like stuff like the whole period thing. Why is that getting so much hate and so much fucking heat? It wasn't really getting heat from anyone other than people that knew about like what the fucking situation was when it came to the luxury tax and all the rest of it. But condoms are free. Do you know? So it's that contrast when one's a choice and one isn't. So why is that do you know? It's just bizarre. And then obviously not being able to talk about it because people don't know, and then that kind of ignorance hangs about. And on the topic of ignorance, I was sitting the other day and I was just thinking, I wasn't even thinking, do you know, someone pulled out a bottle of the Carex hand sanitizer. Now, hand sanitizer right now is big fucking business. It is big news. Everyone is going fucking nuts for gloves, masks, hand sanitizers, and the fucking visors. It is a PPE world out there, and we are just living in it. It is ridiculous. So, I've already mentioned Spear Dick. If you haven't heard of Spear Dick before, it's like episode 2 or 3, I think it's 2. I go into the full description. It is, I don't know, worth a listen if you haven't already heard it. And, here goes. So, I had this boyfriend one time. He was 25 at the time. Now, I, like any sensible female person, woman, whatever, some guys are good and some guys are bad, and I seem to always find the fucking idiots. Now I don't know if it's a ratio thing or what, but that's my situation. And this is obviously a very sex positive, female forward podcast, and that's my kind of vibe. So, saying that, I take my pleasure seriously, and I think that every woman, lassie, girl, everyone should really, but not in a selfish way. Like, make it fun for the whole family, you know, like keep everyone involved. Don't fuck your family. Like, I can't, that was a joke. So I feel like, so anyway, I have a bag of tricks. Well, let's be real, I have more than one, but who doesn't fucking love a sex toy? And essentially, I like to take things with me. Like, when you're fucking with a condom on, depending on size, dick, vag, condom ratio, nonsense, right? And the angle and the performance and whatever the fuck, there can be friction, okay? Friction is not good. And condoms have stuff on that essentially can dry you out a little bit, which is not uncommon. So I always like to, if you're using a condom, you have to use like lube, but it has to be water based. I think everyone should know this. If you don't, like, I feel like a fucking sex guru right now, but this is just the hard fucking facts, okay? If you're using a condom, please use lube. If you're like, oh, but she's wet enough, I don't care. I don't fucking care. Do you know how like sore it is if you have friction down below, friction burns on your fucking vagina? It's not cute, okay? It's not a cute time. Please use lube. For her sake, his sake, whoever you're fucking, lube. Lube, lube, lube. There's a reason. Lube, okay? And so essentially I carry my bag of tricks, which is just essentially sex toys in my handbag. Let's keep it cute. So I do drive, and I've driven since I was like in my teens, and I was 21 and I was like on the train for an hour and a half all the way down to where this guy stayed, which is near Loch Lomond, and I am obviously from the city, so there you go. There's the kind of, it's like an hour and a half or some shit, I don't fucking know. And we get into it and we pull out. We'd already fucked, I think. We'd already fucked like once that day. So the lube was out. And the lube is in a clear bottle with a yellow label and a black lid, and it's water-based lubricant, and it says it on it, lube, L-U-B-E, couldn't be any fucking clearer. But also in my bag, pre-corona, I always took like a little bottle of hand, especially on public transport. You don't know who's been there, you don't know who's been touching what, you don't know who's been licking the windows, you don't fucking know, okay? You don't know. I have seen some fucking sights on public transport. I'm pretty sure people have seen me absolutely shit-faced going home on the last train and thought, what the fuck? So, you know, no judgment, but like, I know what goes on in public transport. So, and then we all obviously saw the video of the lassie and the guy fucking on the train. I think they got charged for that. Not really sure. I'm not bringing the vibe down with the police charges, but they definitely, there was full penetration in the carriage, okay? Full penetration. But back to me, and I was in a position where I didn't really have much control over what was going on, and I was on all fours, also known as doggy style. That's a good one. And we well, I don't have a fucking clue what's going on, okay? This is just surmising of what happened. Now, this guy, one, was supposed to have a condom on. Very important, because there's a whole thing about it. And then 2, went to get the lube. And 3, did not get the lube. So then, not much is going on. Things are hot and heavy. It's kind of fast paced. I have to tell you, it wasn't in the dark. It was not in the dark at all. It was full beam, full lit. Literally fucking porn star set. There was not a shadow in the room. And I feel the lube being put on me, only for it to start burning. And I was like, holy fuck, what is that? I turn round, this fucking goon is holding the bottle of Carex 99.99% bacterial killing hand gel. Now, it smells amazing, feels horrific, and I was like, what the fuck? So I'm obviously like fleeing to the bathroom in his mother's house to try and rinse this fucking hand sanitizer off of my poor vag, which is on fire because it is literally inside me. And I was just like, what the fuck? For him to then be like, oh my god, I'm so sorry, I didn't mean it. Well, no fucking shit, Sherlock. Like, what the fuck? Now, the lube was double the size of the hand sanitizer. The hand sanitizer's white, blue lid, blue label, Carex written across it, and the lube was clear bottle, double the size, round, yellow label, black lid, lube written on it. Are you blind as well as stupid? Are you kidding? Like, actually, and then just to add to the sheer fucking bullshit, just to add, he was like, it's not just you, I put it on my dick too. Well, why the fuck did you put it on your dick too? Because you're supposed to be fucking covered up. You're supposed to have some rubber on that shit. You're supposed to be bagged the fuck up. Okay, you're supposed to have a condom on. This is another thing, actually, now that I'm talking about it. He actually used to say, oh, I can't get hard if I have a condom on. Bitch, you're not coming in me raw. Fuck off. Like, you have to be clothed. You have to be prepared for the situation, because I wasn't on contraception, because, like I've stated previously, I have had a fucking nightmare with almost all of it. The only thing that I've not tried is the fucking cup. The little plastic frisbee, the little flying saucer and the pussy. I have not tried that, and I was laughed out of the GP's office when I was like, here's the last resort, because it's so fucking unreliable. Therefore, condoms. But yeah, so I was just like, this is a fucking bullshit shit show. And then about half an hour later I had a nosebleed, and now I don't know if they're related. I feel like they're not. But we definitely got into a fight over that. Now, now you're starting to understand. If you follow the Instagram page, you'll be like, sex mishaps. I see. If you have not seen the Instagram, I put up begging, pleading, needing some reassurance that I was not alone in some of the sex mishaps. Now, I cannot thank everyone who contributed to that enough, because I have heard, seen and listened to some shit that I absolutely love. Like, I just cannot get enough of the fucking chaos that was that answer section. Like, it was crazy. And I did do a few things. It's one of those ones where I was sitting and I was like, these are amazing, and every single one I read, there was like another useless piece of information that popped into my head, and I was like, I can fucking use that. That'd be amazing. So it's now a highlight, and it may become a regular thing, because this is not the only sex disaster I have in my repertoire. I have so many things. I actually I experienced for the first time, not too long ago actually, someone needing to use an asthma inhaler right after we had sex, and I was very, do I have to call an ambulance? Do your lungs need some help? I'm trained in CPR. Will I just breathe with you? So that was the first for me. I actually ended up just pulling out a bag of pretzels, just sitting having a little munch of pretzels. Like, literally combing my hair. This guy's holding a fucking little inhaler to his face, and I'm just having a good time. Now, isn't that what we all want in this tier 4 lockdown? It's to be reminiscing about wilder times in life. And also, I feel like right now, the vibe right now is very chaotic. You've probably gathered that from like this fucking episode. I'll not apologise. This is real life. This is what it is. So there's a whole lot of shit going on. And obviously Black Friday just happened. And I'm wondering what's going to happen with Cyber Monday, because obviously like all of Glasgow's high street shops are shut. They're done. They're literally like closed up, apart from the superstores. Oh, I was thinking the other day, restaurants and pubs and bars and all that good stuff, everyone was blaming them. Everyone was blaming them for the fucking bullshit COVID spread, okay? But I've been there. I've been in them. They've tracked and traced, taking your name, taking your number. They know where you fucking live. They don't, I'm just kidding. But then you go to Tesco's, Morrison's, Farm Foods, Sainsbury's, wherever the fuck you go, Aldi, Lidl, oh, can't forget Waitrose, and everyone is fucking mental. They literally are so fucking crazy. Like, they are just running about, masks over their faces, but under their nose, or over their nose and their lips are out, mouth breathers everywhere, especially that Waitrose. And then you're just like, everyone's clambering over everyone fucking else. Like, what is the vibe here? Because the vibe, like, I'm getting the bad vibes. How can you possibly be getting positive vibes? And I just think, like, obviously, it's such a shame for the people who work there, But surely those places are the fucking COVID hotspots, like the big super stores. You know, like, I think that's a high fucking risk. I have literally witnessed people shouting at other people who do and don't have masks on, and I just think, what? And then people are essentially fucking, like, bum shuffling down aisles together. Like, there's not a space, and people are just, like, lazily walking around, and you're trying to, like, wiggle by, but there's people on every side. You feel like you're in a fucking gangbang. That's how close these people are to you. Do you know what I mean? You're just like, what is going on? And I just thought, no one tracks and traces in these supermarkets. Like, it's literally crazy. I just think it's bizarre. I think it's crazy times. And I think maybe I'm becoming up here a fucking conspiracy theorist. Maybe that's the next move for this podcast. Get somebody on and talk about all the weird shit that goes on in this world. But I do think it's crazy. Especially because the bars and things had to put so much in place in way of, like, COVID correctness. And I think that's the best way to put it. Like, they literally bought the plastic things, they bought all their staff the visors. Now, I don't think they cost very fucking much, but they still bought them. And then, obviously, everyone's information. Now, obviously, the ones that were affected, like, that did have the positive cases, did shut down, and everyone was, like, contacted. But what about these big fucking crazy people filled? I was at Shells and Tesco, the one with all the fucking issues, and I literally watched people walk in with their masks on, past the security, past the staff, past the other people, and then they get to the aisles and the fucking mask is off, and you're like, you're still inside this shop, like, what the fuck are you doing? And another one that I saw, again, the train, public transport, here we fucking go. She's sitting there, drinking, eating, whatever, fine. But then she pulls her mask down, just right onto her top lip. You know, got to keep that mouth breather covered. And she's got her nose out, and then she actually lifts her mask off her face, and she has like an electric fan, and she's fanning herself. She's opened the window, but what she's doing is she's blowing all her breathing air with all those possible COVID germs, or whatever germs she has, I don't know, we're in Shelton. And she's just blasting it all over the train with this little fan, and I was just like, it's not very COVID friendly of you, and I don't appreciate it. Me, pure fucking, like, dressed up like I'm in, I don't know, the Sahara Desert or something, in a fucking sandstorm. There's a fucking mask on, there's a scarf, my hood's over my head, over my face, I sit in like a fucking weirdo, just big mad eyes darting about the place, looking at this crazy psycho bitch in Shelton with her fucking fan and her nose out. I'm just like, crazy times. But, you know, it is what it is. And this episode's kind of been a total write-off. If you agree with any of my points, you know where to find me. I'm not hidden. Yeah, and I actually, just while we're on the topic of, like, weirdos, I had someone, a predator, an actual predator, is amazing, message me on my personal Instagram because I liked a post on a BDSM, like, hashtag, whatever it was, something stupid. But he obviously sits and goes through all the likes on, like, this kind of type of, like, picture or image or whatever, and then sees what girls he can go and find and try to message. So he messaged me like, oh my god, are you a sub? And I was like, what? I was like, oh, I was sending them to my sub. I don't have a fucking sub. I wish I had a fucking sub, that'd be great. Wonder if I can get someone to be a sub. Anyway, so basically he was like, no, I thought you were the sub. I was like, excuse me, that fucking look like a sub. And it just became like a whole thing. But yeah, and then I was like, excuse me, like, do you want to be my sub? And he was like, no. And he immediately thought my sub was a female. And I said, excuse me, why is that female? I don't have a fucking sub, so it doesn't even make sense. I'm just winding this guy up because it's fucking weird. But anyway, don't do that. Do not sit and look through somebody else's likes on a picture that they've posted which is slightly kinky or twisted or whatever. Yeah, just don't do that. It's fucking weird. It's fucking, and you'll get aired about it, and it'll be, next thing you know, podcast material, you know. Actually, I'll post it. Hi, I really like your page and saw that you liked some of the posts. What fucking posts? Oh, one's about subs. Oh yeah, for my sub, you fucking creep. Regardless of that, periods, poverty is fixed the fuck. well, at some point, I don't know, it's probably not fixed. People are still going to be weird about it. It's just a good vibe. It's a good fucking vibe. I love to see it. We all love to see it. It's such a fucking positive movement. And especially right now, guys, if your girl has to wear, no, if your girl's not on contraception, doesn't want a kid, and you use condoms, lube the fuck up. There's no way I can say it other than, like, you could hurt her, essentially. One wrong move, she's dried up, you're done. It hurts. It's a bad time. We're going to make the WAP even wappier, okay? So just add the lube in, make it fun, keep it cute, and just work your fucking magic. Make her come. Girls, get some toys. Toys are so fun. Like, I don't understand the pure stigma against that. Like, oh my god. Actually, here's a topic for another time. I will fill you in on. If you want to hear about them, let me know. I am so open about all this stuff. And I think everyone needs to be. And if you're not, just listen in. Just enjoy the chat. Just fucking enjoy the chat. I hope you're having an amazing Sunday. I hope you got all you needed to get. I hope you are not struggling too much with this tier 4 lockdown. Have a laugh. Just take the piss. I literally look like a bag of shit. And yeah, live your life. I'm about to go and fucking disappear into the bath for the next 6 hours with a bottle of wine. Heaven help me. Love you lots. And I'll see you next Sunday.